Hey there, welcome back to the channel. We all know that not getting enough sleep can leave us feeling cranky and easily irritable, but why is that? Well, as always, I'm going to take a scientific approach, and today we're going to answer two questions that are closely related. The first is, how much sleep do we need? And the second is, how does sleep deprivation affect our emotions? Hey everyone, my name is Matthew, and welcome to Calm Insomniac, where we're a community of people trying to get a better night's sleep. If you're new here, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for notifications. I decided to pair these two topics together because, of course, they are very closely related, but also for a practical reason, and that is, how much sleep do we need? While there's a lot of science and reasoning behind it, the truth is the answer is very simple, and I thought it would be better and more practical to pair it with another topic. And when we get into talking about how sleep deprivation affects our emotions, I'm only going to be focusing on one very specific element of it. It's a huge, complex topic, and I would rather start with a specific area rather than trying to tackle the entire subject at once. So what is the easy answer to how much sleep do we need? In 2015, the American Academy of Sleep Medicine and the Sleep Research Society released a joint statement on how much sleep the healthy adult needs. And they said that the average healthy adult needs 7 hours or more of sleep on a regular basis. This recommendation came with a few further explanations and clarifications. First, they reiterated that not sleeping at least 7 hours a night on a regular basis can leave you with negative health outcomes, such as possible weight gain, increased chance of getting diabetes or high blood pressure, increased pain, and reduced immune system capabilities. Second, they recommended that young adults sleep 9 hours or more on a regular basis. They also gave this recommendation for those who are recovering from sleep debt, which we'll discuss in a second, as well as those who are fighting an illness. And finally, they just mentioned that there is no scientific conclusion yet if sleeping more than 9 hours regularly for healthy adults could be detrimental to your health. So in general, we should take all of this advice and the recommendations and boil it down to one simple recommendation, which is healthy adults should regularly sleep 7 to 9 hours per night. I just mentioned a term, sleep debt, and this is the next thing that we need to discuss. I've been hearing the term sleep debt for a long time, but I never really knew what it meant. Sleep debt is actually the unofficial term for partial sleep deprivation, and partial sleep deprivation refers to not getting enough sleep per night over the course of at least several days. This is not the same as total sleep deprivation, which would be not sleeping at all for a period of more than 24 hours. And just like real-life debt, sleep debt compounds over time. So let's say in a 5-day work week, you only sleep 5 hours a night, but you typically need to sleep 7 hours a night, the minimum recommendation. By the end of the 5-day work week, you have accrued 10 hours of sleep debt. So you might be wondering, can I just sleep extra on the weekend and pay back my sleep debt? Well, not necessarily. If you remember from the sleep recommendation, they did say that sleeping more than 9 hours a night could help pay back sleep debt, but in the recommendation, they were calling for consistency. So you'd have to sleep more than 9 hours every night, and not just try to do it as a quick fix on the weekend. Speaking of that, sleeping extra on the weekend is definitely not a quick fix for your sleep debt. The truth is that paying back your sleep debt on paper doesn't actually improve your health. In fact, research has shown that sleeping extra on the weekends can negatively affect your health. By sleeping extra on the weekend, the potential negative side effects include higher caloric intake, weight gain, and changes in how your body uses insulin. So this leaves you at a higher risk for obesity and diabetes. With that in mind, if you're struggling to lose weight and you sleep extra on the weekends, then that could be preventing you from achieving your weight loss goals. So we've answered how much sleep do we need, and we've covered sleep debt, which is an important topic to cover when we're discussing not getting enough sleep. But now let's answer my original question, which is, how does sleep deprivation affect our emotions? Remember, as I stated in the beginning, I'm only going to be focusing on one very specific element of this topic because it's just too broad to talk about everything. I'm going to be referring to a 2013 study from Japan which measured the effects of sleep deprivation on our emotions and surprisingly was the first study to do so. Now yes, at the time of this video, that study is already 7 years old. However, if new studies come out or there is a new study I just don't know of yet, then I'll be sure to update this information if needed. The way this study worked is they took participants and partially sleep deprived them over a period of 5 days. And then they showed the participants pictures of facial expressions which showed strong emotions, and they were measuring the brain's responses to these pictures. One of the key findings of this study is that people who are sleep deprived have increased activity in their left amygdala, which is the part of the brain responsible for processing negative emotions. The amygdala are a pair of cell clusters which process emotions. The study also found that people who are sleep deprived have a lack of communication between the amygdala and the anterior cingulate cortex. The anterior cingulate cortex is another part of the brain that helps in decision making, but also in processing emotions. So because of this, the participants had increased sensitivity to negative emotions, particularly fear. Noticeably, though, the participants had no change in their response to positive emotions. So what we can conclude from this research is that when we are sleep deprived, we have a much higher sensitivity to negative emotions, and we are more likely to overreact or take something out of context when we see what is perceived as a negative emotion, particularly if it relates to fear. So our perception of negative emotions is heightened and also less accurate. In fact, the researchers noted that our ability to accurately and subjectively process negative emotions is severely diminished when we are sleep deprived. Alright, those are answers to two of the largest questions as related to sleep. How much should we sleep and how sleep deprivation negatively affects our emotions? I think this might have ended up being one of my shorter videos, but I'll have to see what happens when I actually edit it. I really enjoy going through this research and answering these questions because it gives me further questions that need to be answered, which means I can have even more discussions with you in the future. And please, let me know in the comments, what questions about sleep or relaxation do you want answered? We're trying to build a community here, and I want your input as to what you want to learn. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed learning this today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow me on Facebook and Pinterest, check out my website, and sign up for my email list. All of those links are down below, including the research study that I cited today. If you want to check out some of my videos on classical music and why they can be good for relaxation, I suggest you check out this playlist over here. And if you want to see one of my recent videos talking about ASMR, what is it, and how does it actually work, then check out this video down over here. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.